be able to have more control over things?
It is. It's an empowerment. And we teach people that you need to empower yourself. Again, self-esteem and self-confidence is probably the best thing that you can learn in witchcraft and in life, because you have to feel worthy. When we do a spell, we always see that final outcome. You know, I always say, if you're doing a spell to get that right and correct job, you have to see yourself in that job. And if you have a doubt for a split second, you're going to cross yourself.
You got to start all over again.
Yep. So the thing is to say, I am worthy of that job. I am worthy of that career.
In other words, you have to
own it.
Believe, yes, own it. You have to believe that you're worthy of it and know that you have the ability to get it.
Right. You know, we're all born psychic. We all have that psychic ability within us, and we need to kind of go within ourselves and use it. You know, divination is very important, and divination just means it's a form of telling the future. So whether you use tarot cards, pendulums, scrying mirrors, runes, it helps us. Those are just tools to help us focus our energy. And the more you do it, the stronger you get.
So, in other words, practice makes perfect.
Practice, practice, practice.
And even the spells that people do for love, that's focusing your intention on your goal. So it's fueling them, and it's giving them more confidence and more of a self-power to get the correct love that they want as well. So it's not just, you know, the career spells. Spells for love have a lot of emotion attached to it. So it's, you need more confidence within yourself to get your end result.
I could see that, because a lot of your mental attitude comes out from you. You emit energy, certain energy. So whatever's on your mind is going to be being sent out.
Yes.
And that's what you're going to bring back.
We just watched, actually Lori Cabot just did a YouTube, and it's, she has a bunch up on YouTube, and this one that's kind of resonating with me is where she talks about how you don't have to do anything bad to an enemy. And if somebody's being negative to you and somebody's being controlling to you, do a spell that they find something right in their life. Right and correct in their life. Bring someone in for them, or make them have a better job or a better outlook on life. So this way, what's going to happen is they'll take their focus and attention off of you.
I was going to say that.
You know?
That's exactly what I...
Because people that are miserable, and I hate to use that term.
Company.
Exactly. So if your love life is chaotic, your life is going to be chaotic. And you know what? You'll bark at people, and you'll be nasty with people, and really just controlling. And what you need to do is say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a spell on so-and-so.
To find that happiness.
So they find happiness.
Yeah.
Because even an adversary of yours, no matter how much of a nuisance they can be, if you look at it as something that they're missing, that's making them act that way. So if you want to draw in a love for someone, to
correct
love, to make them happy, and it makes the wheel turn much easier.
Also, whatever you wish on someone else, you're basically wishing on yourself.
Right.
Yes.
So if you're wishing something good for somebody, that good will come to you too.
Exactly.
Yep. People always think the grass is greener on the other side. And they sometimes wish, I wish I had what that person has. And sometimes you don't know what that person has.
It's true. Be careful what you wish for.
Because you just might get it,
You don't know.
When it comes to spells and it comes to spell work, I think it's great because, when I look at my spells, 9 out of 10 times they work. It's wonderful. So, and the ones that don't work, you're kind of happy for after, because 6 months down the road, you can kind of say, you know what?
Good thing that
I didn't get it because it wasn't meant to happen.
I have said that so many times. I've wanted this or that, or had a crush on a certain person or something, and it didn't work out, and I would say later, thank God.
Yep.
Now I know why.
Yeah. Because the universe knows what's right for us.
Yeah.
sometimes we don't.
Yes,
so
that's right.
we leave it up to our God and Goddess. We don't have the final say in
Right.
any of our spells. They do.
No, and a lot of people have this expectation of exactly the kind of person that they want. They want, you know, the prince on the white horse to come in. They have to be a certain height and certain job.
No, you can't be that
And-
specific.
no,
but you have
and-
to be specific, though.
Yes, but when they set themselves up for these grand expectations,
Right.
they're not looking for the love aspect. It's just all,
All show.
Yeah, don't
and then-
box yourself in.
Yeah. Because when you paint yourself in the corner, you're not going to find.
Well, if you are looking for love or anything, a job, whatever, you should actually sit and write down
Yes.
the attributes of either this person or this job or whatever you're trying to, this car that you want or whatever, that, and make it general but specific enough so that the universe can pick out the right one for you.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you know, I mean, you can't just say, just send me somebody that I can love and will love me. But you might end up with a married person.
Right.
You might
Yeah.
end up with a person who is not a nice person, you know, and you don't want that. You have to be specific, you know, and say things like you want the person to be kind and generous and you know, and be good to you and all this kind of stuff, you know, and you know. That's it.
You know, when we say too, leaving up to the universe, when I was 19, I performed a spell to own my own shop.
Uh-huh.
And years went on, and it never happened. When I was 31, the opportunity landed in my lap. And people said to me, you know, if you're such a powerful witch, why did it take so long? And thinking back, if I was to open a shop in my early 20s, it would have never lasted.
That's
A
why it
bus-
happened
yep.
later, because that's when it was going to be good for you.
Yep, I wouldn't have that business sense
Yeah.
in my 20s that I have in my 30s. And, you know, when you're in your 20s, it's all about, you know, going out and, you know, finding yourself. And then when I hit 31, it landed in my lap.
came
And
together.
it's been, knock on wood, 6 successful years. And, you know,
Yeah.
you know, I just see us building and, you know, expanding on, you know, what we have. And I thank the universe and I thank my gods and goddesses every day. And we need to thank, I don't care who you believe in, God's goddess, whoever you feel is looking down on you from, you know, the heavens, thank them. Thank them for what you have received so far in your life.
Yes,
You know,
attitude of gratitude, always.
Yes.
Because if you don't have an attitude of gratitude, then they're not going to bring you anything else.
Exactly.
You know, they're just going to drop you. They're going to say, well, that's the end of that one. They're not even grateful for one thing. They're not going to get something else.
Yep.
You know, so you know, you always have to be grateful and you always have to show gratitude because that's the way it is.
Yep. You know, it's great to leave out, I don't mean to cut you off.
okay.
It's great to leave out little offerings too. A little bowl of honey for the, you know, for the gods and goddesses.
Well, where would you put it though?
You know, some people have altars, but even if you had like an empty space, maybe in your bedroom,
Yeah.
you know, bring in maybe some fresh flowers or fresh roses. You can leave a chalice and maybe put some fresh spring water or wine in it for a libation. And always just say, you know what, I give thanks, and take a sip, and just a sip.
Uh-huh.
Because that's telling the universe, I am happy, I am thankful.
And most times you don't need a formal altar because when you're doing spells, if you are practicing witch or not, that space that you're creating is your sacred space. So, you know, after you light a candle for money, you know, or success, it's always good to do an offering candle or an offering ritual in that same space just to say thank you, and I'm aware that you're around me.
So in other words, then you would do a candle, and then once that candle's burned out, you just do a thank you candle so that it probably might ensure you're receiving what you're looking for
and
as
it's
well.
it's like a token of
Yeah, gratitude.
gratitude.
You know, after you receive it, you can do a spell, and maybe 2 months later it'll come out and it'll manifest.
Yes.
And then you say, all right, I'm going to do a small little candle and say thank you. Or a small little glass of spring water. You know, as witches, we have big altars, so, you know, we're able to do that. But like Richie said, you don't need to have, you know, a grand old altar space.
No.
You know.
No, well, I have my vanity that I sit and put my makeup on. I got this mirror and everything. And if I'm going to do something, then I'll just make sure everything is nice and clean,
Yep.
and then I do it there.
Yep. And people have to realize too, like you just said, your altar space physically should be clean, no
Has to
dust.
be clean. And you know what else I do? I smudge it too. The
Great.
area.
Yes.
Yep.
Smudge the whole room actually.
First physically, then spiritually. Cleanse.
And even when you do like a bath
Yeah.
for a magical cause,
Yeah.
it's always good to,
Smudge also.
no, but in the same essence, you clean yourself first off of the physical debris, and
Oh, in
then
other
you
words,
would
like
do,
take a shower first,
yeah, and then you would do,
and then fill the tub with your
with your
bath
bath.
water,
Yeah.
so that you get into it clean.
yeah,
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, and people don't realize too, you can do your spiritual cleanses very, very inexpensive. You can just go and get sea salt
Oh, sea salt is.
and sea salt and water
They're
bath.
cheap.
Nice warm sea salt and water bath, which I love.
Or-
Is it the Himalayan?
the Himalayan sea salt.
Himalayan sea salt is one of
Yeah?
the oldest sea salts. It's a little pricey, but the essence
sell
of
it?
it, we don't carry it. That's more of a gourmet or
Yeah,
a
like
health
a
food
health food store
store
would
would
have it.
sell it.
Oh, yeah?
You know, we sell our sea salts and
Because it's used in cooking also.
yes,
Yeah.
you know, we package sea salts, but everything that we sell, we personally charge with our energy.
Right.
And one of the things that, you know, I have to say that I'm very proud of with our shop, it's everything that we sell is handmade. So our oils, our incense, our candles.
And I can vouch for that. I've come in when
Yep.
you were mixing.
Yep. You know,
Like you had a little chemistry lab going
exactly.
on over
Our
there.
brooms, you know, no matter what you're buying from us, you're not going to find it anywhere else.
Uh-huh.
Because we're making it with Magick, we're making it during the correct moon phases,
Right.
the correct astrological, you know, influences, and we never charge or make anything during a Mercury retrograde.
Right. You don't start anything
No.
during a Mercury retrograde.
And for people who don't know what that is, a Mercury retrograde means that you don't start anything new during this time. You don't sign any contracts. Do not buy, you know, any large appliances, cars. If you buy a car during a retrograde, you'll get a lemon.
Right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you don't
And it's
do
not
anything,
fluff.
no electronics equipment, and nothing during a retrograde.
Yeah.
That usually happens like, what, 3 or 4 times a year,
Yeah,
and it
usually-
lasts about 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Yep. And you know what? Nobody's exempt from it. A year ago, I was buying a new car, and I figured, you know what? Let me just try it. I had so many problems with the paperwork from the first, you know, day I went there.
Yeah.
Back and forth fax, and they weren't getting the faxes. Do you know I got the car the day after the retrograde? It took 3 weeks
Really?
because the paperwork kept getting mixed up.
Was the car okay?
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? None of us are exempt from it. And, you know, some people say, "Oh, you know, I'm spiritual. I can use the back door on it." I've heard that expression before.
Oh.
You can't.
No,
You can't. You know, we're,
because we're all equal.
Yeah,
Why should
absolutely.
anybody be special?
you know, and especially on a spiritual level. You know, we're like you said. I don't care if you've been studying any religion for 2 days or 20 years. We're all equal.
Yeah.
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 You know, there's no grand poobah. And especially in witchcraft, too, there's no grand poobah. I think that's why, too, a lot of the political aspects of witchcraft, everybody wants to say, you know, I'm running this coven, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. We're all equal.
Yeah.
You know, it's an equality.
Right. No, that's the truth. That's the truth. We're all at least born equal. Some of us don't stay equal in some ways, though. It depends on
The individual.
the individual, but we're all equal.
Yeah, and we all have the potential to better ourselves. And I think, you know, again, when people come to witchcraft, they want to better themselves. They want to educate themselves. It's not all about just doing spells either. You know, it's about taking control of your life.
Yeah.
It really is. It takes a strong person to be a witch because you have to learn about different aspects of life. You can't just be blind to what's going on socially, you know, with the economy.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know, even with politics, you need to keep yourself very
Abreast.
knowledgeable. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a constant quest of knowledge. Like, you never
Never
stop
stops.
learning. And
Well,
just
that's life, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just when you think that you know the ins and outs of anything along the path, you know, you find something else and you're like, wow. You know,
You know, I've been reading tarot cards for 25 years, and I'm like a little kid when, you know, I read somebody, and you kind of look at the map, and it's like...
Because you're always seeing a different
Yeah,
story.
you know, you could look at the cards every day for 25 years, and you'll always notice something different. You know, so I always get like a little kid when you put the story together. And people, too, when we do readings, you know, we work together. When you're with the client, too, you're working on a spiritual vibration with them, so they have to realize, too, that they have to give you the energy. So it's a constant flow back and forth. You know, some people come in that are very skeptical, and I always say, honestly, why come in? If you don't believe in what
Yeah,
you're
why
doing,
bother?
you know, you're not only wasting my time, you're wasting your time. So, you know, you have to be very open with that, too.
Yeah.
You know, but this has been our life's journey, and to me, it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's something I love. It's a passion.
yeah. And even with the healings, like I'm sure when you do a healing on someone too, you pick up on so many the different things while you're doing it. Like you can connect with them.
Yeah.
So not every healing is the same
Oh, yeah,
either.
no, it's all different.
Yeah,
So,
and-
and the person, depending on the person or any person, experiences something different each time, too.
Yeah, and the more open that they are to the healings as well, the easier everything flows, and it's easier for, you know,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
two parties.
When you're open, yeah, when you're more open. Although with Reiki, a person doesn't have to necessarily believe or be open. They only have to give their permission
Yes.
Right.
to receive the Reiki, but they don't really necessarily have to believe for it to work.
Christine, when you do your Reiki sessions, do you also get like a psychic feel too? Do you see things that will happen sometimes?
Not really with the person, because I think that maybe I block myself because I don't really want to be able. I don't want to have to say to somebody. Although I mean, it might not be a bad idea to be able to say, well, watch out for this and watch out for that. But
Right.
I really don't want to see a lot when it comes to healing. I just want to give them the energy and hope that it's for their highest good.
Right.
And that it'll do the job that it's meant to do.
Yeah, they take it and they
Yeah,
process
and
it.
Yeah, you know. So and everybody that everybody that receives the Reiki, and I'm so that you have the same experience, always says that they come out of it very calm
Yes.
and relaxed and
They melt.
and some they melt. And also sometimes they're able to see things more clearly in their life because they've gotten such a relaxed period, you know, such a relaxed state that they are, you know, sometimes they get their eyes opened and they just feel differently about certain things. Or
Yeah.
it depends on what kind of a healing they need, actually, because when a person receives Reiki, it will, first of all, the energy is extremely intelligent energy, and it will go where it is needed as far as
exactly.
you're concerned. You know, and if you need a spiritual healing or an emotional healing, physical or spiritual or whatever kind of healing you need, the Reiki will go to that
That area. Yes.
and take care of whatever it is that you need for your highest good, because it's always for your highest good. And one thing that people should know about Reiki also is that it cannot be used to do anything bad.
No.
If anybody tried to use Reiki to do something bad, it would dissolve, it wouldn't work.
Right. I mean, I've been having a lot of back problems, but she's been working my back. And it really does alleviate a lot of the pain and the pressure. And now doctors and even nurses, they're making the nurses actually train now in Reiki.
I know.
You know, veterinarians. You know, it's better than the painkillers they're prescribing.
Yeah, and it's almost a form of like pain
Management.
management as
Yeah.
well, because it's,
Oh, yeah, especially when your hands get really hot.
yes.
I've had people ask me if I had a hot thing in my hand, and I said, no, it's just my hands.
Yeah. I mean, even as a child, I would hold chocolates in my hand, and they would melt.
Did M&Ms melt in your hand?
Yeah. Well, they actually say that the power, too, your hands hold all the power, too. So
Yeah.
when your hands are getting hot and warm, that's the healing energy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the healing light.
That's the energy coming through you and into the person, and they feel the heat.
Yeah, it's being channeled right at you.
I've had people with multiple layers of clothing on and feel the heat.
Wow.
You know, and I also want to tell people, too, that right now Jupiter is very strong. So from now until March, I would say do a lot of career spells and money spells. Work with the color purple and royal blue for candle work, because Jupiter now is going to help us influence people in high places. Bankers, career. We were in retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, for almost 6 months. We came out of it on Christmas Day.
Really?
So now it's time, we're amped.
So in all that time, there was like a stagnation of some
Yep.
sort with people finding jobs and
Yeah.
all that kind
It
and
did
that should
affect.
open up again now?
Yes, and even in jobs that you're in, it's great to work with Jupiter too, because it
Promotion.
opens up every possible way of
Advancement?
Yeah,
So now it's a push.
yeah, because it's not just for people that are unemployed. It's for, you can do a career spell if you have a job and you just want job security, and also if you
Or
also
a raise
yeah
or a promotion?
yeah to
So now's the time then to start looking into it. So then, I guess what you're saying is, don't give up.
Right. I mean, the economy is very bad right now, and looking into it psychically, it's not going to get better for a while. So Richie and myself too, and we're going to do this as a class project. We're going to do a Jupiter spell, and we're going to project that people who need jobs and want jobs actually, get them. So
Well, that's wonderful.
yeah,
That's
so
nice of you to
we're
do
going to help
that,
the
too.
community in that aspect too.
Good.
Lori taught us how to do it, and we're gonna
do it
spread
down
it
here.
and help, help people out.
Well, basically, in witchcraft, what you do is you manipulate energy.
Yes.
You take energy that exists and you make it work for you or for a client, whatever is needed, wherever it's needed.
Yeah, and you take the energy and the intention and you direct it in the way that, it's all about the changing of the energy into helping yourself.
You have to help
Yeah.
yourself first.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah.
Like when the nest comes down on the airplane, put it on your
Yep.
face first and then help whoever.
Yes.
Because without helping yourself first, you could be
You
no
can't help
good to
nobody
anybody.
else. You need to put a roof over your head and food in your mouth first.
Right.
Take care of yourself, and then you
Right.
can take care of everyone else. It's not being selfish.
No, it's not.
It's not being selfish. Ego is not a dirty word.
No.
We all need it. We all need to work with it. And the stronger, we feel about ourselves, the better we can help everyone else.
Yeah,
In our families, in our communities, and, just work together as a whole.
yeah, absolutely.
And I hope this, when the people watch this, they'll realize that, witches aren't the demons and the devils. We're probably the answers to the questions that they're asking.
They might, yeah, it's
So
very
we want to
possible.
help, integrate witchcraft into society and work with every religion and,
Yeah,
be together.
yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Well, witchcraft has been around for quite some time now. It's just that it's only of late in the most recent years that it's getting recognized and respected. But about how, do you know anything about the history when it was created?
It was
it's
with the
before
ancient,
Christ.
yeah.
It was
with the
Before
Celts.
Christ?
It was before Christ.
Really?
And I think now that witches are being more outspoken,
Yeah?
and we're coming out
Coming
to the
forward,
forefront,
coming out, yeah.
and wearing our pentacles and, letting people know, a witch lives in your neighborhood and, we have shops and,
Yeah,
we're
well,
everyday people.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else you want to tell us about witchcraft that we haven't covered?
The most important thing is that it's not the evil thing that most people think that it is. And a lot of the customs in traditional Mass, even a Catholic Mass, started with the pagans
Yes.
and the witches.
Yeah, well, look at all the stuff that Christians do at Christmas time. The wreaths,
The
the
lights.
The
tree,
tree.
the lights, all of that came from the pagans. They stole it.
Yeah, and what Witchcraft does is it empowers you to practice on your own instead of having someone else standing on the altar
Exactly.
and telling you what to
Well,
do.
even Jesus said, you don't have to go to church. Go in your room and pray.
Yeah, well, Jesus was a magician,
Yes.
and I
That's right.
feel, he was ahead of his time,
Yeah,
and that's why he was,
probably
persecuted.
what got him into trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's the truth. Well, and I was watching a documentary on TV about Jesus around Christmas time, and there were other people too that people saw as people that were able to do things that most people weren't able to do, and those
Yes.
people were all persecuted.
The healers. Jesus was a healer,
Oh, yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
and people just saw that too as something
As a
that
threat.
was a threat.
Yeah, they did.
Anybody that has power, again, power is not a dirty word.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's why they persecuted the witches too in Salem and all that stuff. And because they saw them as having power, and they saw them as being people that were a threat. In the meantime, I would like to just say this was a very interesting show. We learned a lot about witchcraft, and it was very informative, and I thank the both of you for coming and for being with us and giving us your time, and I'm sure that everybody enjoyed what they've learned here tonight.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
It was my pleasure, and we'll have to do it again
Yeah, we'd love
sometime.
definitely.
Sometime down the road, we'll all be
Absolutely.
together again. I'll stop in the shop. And
Please do.
Anybody wants to stop in the shop and say hi to Mark and Richie, and in the meantime, have a good night. Take care.